Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. For the first, let me introduce myself. My name is Lukarimatin. You can call me Lulu. My student number is 23291001 and my study program is English Language Faculty of Management, Business and Culture. In this opportunity, I would like to present a topic entitled Motivation in Educational Psychology. Motivation is one of the most important factors in the learning process because it greatly influences how students learn, think, and achieve academic success. I hope this presentation has better understand the importance of motivation in the learning process. Thank you and please watching my video. In addition, in educational psychology, motivation does not only come from within the student themselves, but it is also influenced by external factors such as teacher, peers, and learner environment. Therefore, understanding motivation is very important for educators in order to create effective and meaningful learning experience. In this presentation, I will discuss several key points, including the definition of motivation, types of motivation, the relationship between motivation and cognitive, emotional, and attitudinal aspect, as well as its role and strengths to improve student motivation. And the next slide is definition of motivation. Motivation in educational psychology refers to the drive that originates from within or outside an individual, which leads a person to engage in learning activities in order to achieve certain goals. In the context of learning, motivation functions as the main force that encourages students to study and persist throughout the learning process. This concept is very supported by the statement that educational psychology is primarily concerned with teaching and learning. This statement indicates that motivation is an essential part of the teaching and learning process because it directly influences student engagement and persistence. And the next slide is types of motivation. Motivation in learning is generally divided into two main types. Intrinsic motivation comes from within the student, while extrinsic motivation originates from external factors such as reward, grades, or praise from the teacher. Intrinsic motivation usually encourages students to learn because of personal interest and curiosity, making it more sustainable over time. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation depends on internal reward or pressure, which might not last long if those external factors are removed. This idea is supported by the statement that intrinsic and intrinsic and extrinsic motivator are of central importance to educational psychology, which highlights the significance of both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation in learning. For the next is motivation and cognition. Motivation is closely related to student cognitive process. It influences how students think, process information, and understand learning material. Students who are highly motivated tend to be comfort and focused and actively engaged in the learning. So next slide is motivation and emotion. From an emotional perspective, motivation affects student feelings such as confidence, enthusiasm, and anxiety. Highly motivated students often feel more confident and positive, while less motivated students might experience stress or fear of failing. For the next slide is motivation and attitude. Motivation also influences student attitudes towards school, teacher, and learning activities. Students with high motivation usually show a positive attitude, participate actively, and demonstrate a strong willingness to learn. This is supported by the statement that attitude towards school is an important predictor of academic well-being, which show that attitudes play a crucial role in their academic success. And the next is role of motivation. Motivation plays a significant role in improving learning outcomes. It encourages students to be precise, active, and willing to put effort into their studies. As a result, motivated students are more likely to achieve better academic performance. This is further explained in the statement that attitude towards school mediates the effect of motivation and effective aspect on academic achievement, indicating that motivation directly contributes to academic success. For the next slide is strengths to improve motivation. To engage student motivation, teachers need to create a supportive and engaging learning environment. This includes using interesting teaching methods, providing encouragement, and fostering positive interaction in the classroom. Motivation is also influenced by social interaction and the learning environment. This is reflected in the statement that participation in any human activity is always mediated socially, culturally, and historically, which emphasizes the importance of social context in learning. For the next slide is conclusion. In conclusion, motivation plays a very important role in determining students' success in learning. It influences their thinking process, emotion, and attitudes toward learning. Therefore, teachers need to apply effective strategies to improve and engage student motivation. Finally, I hope this presentation has provided useful insights and a better understanding of the importance of motivation in educational psychology. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.